Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Will Smith, and with me today I have Freda Kohler with Keller Williams here in Puyallup. And in my past video, I discussed the importance of getting a pre-approval. Now let's say you've got a pre-approval and you want to go on to the next step of buying a home. You got to kind of figure out what it is that you're looking for in a home, right? So with me today, I have a real estate expert. She's going to go over some of the different topics that you can ask yourself and cover when you're going through the home buying process. So let's assume that you have a pre-approved buyer that you just connected with and they're wanting to know what comes next. So you as the real estate agent, what do you do now to start to show them houses so that they can start to see what they like and don't like?
Well, it's really important to sit down and have a conversation about what's important to them and what's their motivation.
Okay.
So, if you have somebody with kids, like schools are often the biggest issue.
Yeah, my wife, that is my wife to a T.
Right. And right now, we'll say the millennials are all waiting to have kids, but they have dogs and they want a yard for their dog. That's super important right now.
Yep.
So you want to sit down and have a conversation with them and what's important to you, what neighborhoods are important to you, is, do you mind noise or do you want it to be a quiet neighborhood, that sort of thing. And then I make a search on the MLS and we set it up to where it automatically sends them listings that might fit their criteria.
Really? Okay. So you guys sit down, you discuss a game plan, you kind of strategize, discuss the needs versus wants as far as like ranking what's higher than the other. Right. And then you build a search engine, if you will, based off that, and it sends it out to them for them to view.
Exactly.
Okay. No, that's awesome. So let's just say that you've had the conversation, you built a game plan, kind of went over their needs and their wants, and they've been getting all these listings. What do they do? Do they find the listings? Do they email you, say they want to see something? Like, kind of walk me through that.
Yeah. So they, the other thing I do in the beginning is like, how do you like to communicate? Is text best for you? Email, conversations on the phone? That is important, yeah. A lot of people like to do text, and some people like old school conversations or face to face. So yeah. However it is important to them to communicate, just let me know that way. And then if you see something you like, we'll go set an appointment to go look at the house.
Yeah, that's something that I really had to kind of wrap my head around initially, is discovering what works best for them, because not everybody works a 9-to-5 job. I've had people that work swings, people that work the graveyard shift. So I really don't think they would like a phone call at, 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of their sleep cycle, because They're going to get ready to go to swing shift. So that's really a big, important part of learning what works best for them moving forward. Because that's actually a conversation I recently had with another buyer. They work nights, and they were looking for a house that specifically had like a bedroom on the far side of the house, so that if the kids were up, they weren't going to be making a bunch of noise keeping up dad.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a really important piece to look at. It is
important. And another thing too is, like, if you have a family of 5, you might need 2 bathrooms. You might, yeah, exactly. You have a large family, so you probably know that. My husband and I, we have our 19-year-old son, so he's only there at like half the time, but he's there for food and to do his laundry, right? Exactly. But we still need a 2-bathroom house. Like, I have 2 boys and then myself. And personally, I need 2 bathrooms. But if you're just a young couple or a couple downsizing, you might only need 1 bathroom. You might want 2 bathrooms, but you might only need 1 bathroom. So it kind of depends on what your budget and like what you're looking for. If the house is perfect and only has 1 bathroom, those are needs versus wants. Good. All right. Okay.
So during the whole, house, searching process, can you maybe kind of go into some of the differences between, a traditional stick-built home or a townhouse versus a condo, like really what those differences are?
Yeah, so a stick-built home is a standalone single-family dwelling. You're going to have your own house. You're not going to share any walls with anybody. That's the biggest difference between a house and then townhouse or condo. Townhomes and condos share walls with other people. And then townhomes are typically multi-level homes that share walls. And so that's kind of the only difference. A lot of times condos or townhouses can be categorized as a condo with the county just for zoning purposes.
Gotcha.
But typically a townhouse has multi-levels and a condo is just 1 level, but they both share walls with other people.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And then there's also land options. So if you wanted to build your own land, in Pierce County, that's getting like harder and harder to find like open land that's still buildable.
Without having wetlands and greenbelt restrictions and stuff like that?
Exactly. And zoning purposes as well. And you want to get a feasibility test, a feasibility report done on any land that you purchase. So that way you can make sure it does perk, it's not wetlands, you can build on it. Otherwise you're buying something that you can never do really anything with.
Yeah, and who wants to do that?
Nope.
Well,
not me.
Hey, I really appreciate your time and your expertise on this subject. The bottom line is when you're at this point in the process where you've already got a pre-approval, you really need to sit down with somebody that's willing to listen to you, that understands what you need, and will actually take a look at your needs versus wants, neighborhoods, and really take the time to dial in what's going to work best for you and your family. This is the most expensive purchase of your life. So don't just settle for something. Make sure that when you're out looking, you are very clear with what you would like, with what your expectations are. And people like Freda here, they will do their best to make sure you can get exactly what you want. So stay tuned for some more future videos on different steps during the home buying process. Hope you got something out of this. Until next time, I'm Will Smith. Take care.